as part of your starter pack, you'll get the book by Eric Worre called Go Pro. In fact, Clean Easy are putting one of these in everybody's starter pack, and that's how much they value this book. And you'll get an actual copy that's endorsed by Clean Easy. The point about that is that the first 3 chapters are worth reading fairly quickly. Network marketing is just better. Decide to go pro and learn some skills. There's about 30 pages from a 140-page book before you get to the skills, and it's talking about the value of skills. So you've read the first 3 chapters, you've got a bit of background in there, it adds into what we've already been talking about. And the first skill is all about finding prospects, finding people who you would like to work with. And these may be people you know, people they know. They talk about the list, which is your prospect list, and they talk about constantly working on that and networking on purpose. And by that they mean you're out there constantly keeping your ears and eyes open for people who really would like some extra cash, would like to build a team, would like to be in business for themselves, all that sort of thing. The book will talk you through inviting these people to have a look at what you've got, and what they'll tell you to do is telephone, and they'll say, look, you've got to be emotionally detached. You are just passing on a message. You are inviting people. You are looking for lookers, and it's important that you just. There's a book called Go for No, where you talk about getting no's, and then enough people say yes. We say be yourself, but you have to be a little bit passionate, a little bit excited, a little bit quick to get the whole thing done. Because that adds a certain amount of excitement to it. Strong posture in as much as, well, look, I'm just looking for people who may want to earn an extra income. You might know somebody, you might not. It's that sort of thing. It talks about the 8-step process, the important one being number 8, be in a hurry, compliment the prospect. You can read all about this in some detail in this chapter, and it's important that before you get on the telephone that you practice with your sponsor, but you read this and then you practice with your sponsor. You'll see the logic of the way he builds this up. Part of the same chapter talks about the approaches that we make, the calls that we make, and you might be talking to someone you know very, very well, maybe someone you've come into contact with, or you may be talking to somebody and saying, look, who do you know who may want to earn some extra income, that sort of thing. And then the call, market, prospect, the 3-foot rule is an important one, because as you get out there, as you get out and about, you're going to bump into people, you're going to listen in on conversations. There's an awful lot of people out there need some extra cash. That's what we're coming from here. Then, of course, when you're ready to sit down in front of somebody, the presenting the opportunity thing, there's a big section in this on the ambitions team building manual, and this takes you through how you do it. One of the most important things to remember here, you are the messenger. If people say yes, they say yes to Clean Easy. If they say no, they say no to Clean Easy. And soon you'll learn how you become more than just a messenger. You become part of the message, and I think that's important as well. The latte presentation is all about keeping it short. You'll read more about that. There's a saying that the fortune's in the follow-up. In other words, you put catalogues out, you pick them up, you collect orders. If you don't pick them up, you can't collect orders. Well, it's similar to this. When you've shown people what you have on offer, you've got to talk to them again to find out if it was for them, and you should always be looking to set up the next call, the next contact. He says it can take 4 to 6 exposures. We find in Clean Easy it often takes less, but never give up on a prospect that seems to be thinking about it. Condense means condensed exposure. You've really got to keep this quick. It's no good phoning them up once every 6 months. After they've seen the plan, it needs to be 24 to 48 hours, then another 24 hours or whatever. You'll read all about this in this section. What he doesn't talk about is the prospect profiles and power planner. That's our little system in there, and this we feel is the most powerful thing. That's why Dawn and I managed to sponsor so many people, because we use these things. Helping prospects decide, well, it's really more about making sure that they've got the information they need to decide, because at the end of the day, they don't work for you, they don't work for Clean Easy. You're looking for people who are looking, and you're looking for people who you want to work with, but who see this as a good idea. The 4-question close starts with a question based on what you've seen. If you were to get started with this company on a part-time basis, how much would you need to earn to make it worth your while? And it goes on from there. It says how many hours would you like, could you commit, how many months would you give it, and 4 is if I could show you how to develop an income of so and so a month, whatever they want, working so many hours a month, over the course of so many months, would you be ready to get started? You've got to ask them to start. Yeah, skill 6, helping them get started. The game plan, very, 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 very important. I wouldn't even assume to cover it in just one little slide, because actually this is the biggest part of the whole business. I think you should read this chapter when you get the book first. You won't need it straight away, because you've just got started, and by the time you get people interested, the whole book will have come. Eric Worre says this is the most important skill. I know he's right. When people first get started, this is the last thing on their minds, and really it's important that you get your head around this. So you need to look at this in detail. The meetings we've listed there: one-on-one, sizzles, opening evenings, workshop, conferences, and socials. That's the ambition system. But just have a read of what he's got to say. And the other thing about this is that we have got this whole thing on audio as well, so you can have a listen once you're ready. Here's something we've added. Anything worthwhile takes time, you've got to remember that, but we do have a system to make that happen more quickly. We've got a plan to review. This is the coaching, and we will talk about effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness is doing the right things, and efficiency is doing things right, and always remember that anything worth doing is worth doing badly when you first start. And you'll hear a lot about systems and how people work, and our ambition system, and how the GoPro system fits in there, because it does fit right on in there. It's just part of the whole thing. It underpins it, if you like. So we'll talk to you about that. You've got to read the book. You've maybe even got to read it again, and you probably have to listen to it a few times. But take it a chapter at a time. Learn a skill at a time, and before you know where you are, you'll be totally independent of us and off and running your own business.